In the year 1925, the island of Dominica was a very different place than it is today. It was a British colony, part of the large British Empire that stretched across the globe. This meant that the most important decisions for the island were not made by the people living there. Instead, they were made far away in London by the British government. The island was run by a British administrator who represented the king. Life was slow, and the world felt much bigger and more distant than it does now. Most people lived in small villages, their lives were closely tied to the land and the sea around them. The economy of Dominica in 1925 was based almost entirely on agriculture. The island's green hills and fertile valleys were covered with plantations. The most important crop was limes. Dominica was famous for its lime juice and lime oil, which were sent to other countries. This system created a society where a few wealthy plantation owners had a lot of power, while most of the population worked hard just to get by. Daily life for the average person was simple and challenging. Despite the hardships, the people of Dominica had a strong sense of community. This was a time of quiet existence, but underneath the surface, a desire for change and a greater say in their own future was beginning to grow. The years after 1925 saw the beginning of important political changes in Dominica. People on the island started to feel they should have more control over their own lives and their country. A key moment came in 1924, just before our story begins, when a new constitution allowed for some elected members in the Legislative Council. For the first time, local people could vote for representatives who would speak for them in the government. One of the most powerful early voices for change was a man named Cecil Rall. He was a lawyer and a politician who believed strongly in the rights of the people. In 1948, Geest Industries signed a contract to buy all the bananas Dominica could produce. It was a huge deal. Suddenly, thousands of small farmers had reliable income. Banana farming reshaped the island and lifted many rural families. Roads were built connecting once isolated villages, new schools were constructed, more children got the chance to go to class, healthcare improved too, health clinics opened across villages, a new middle class emerged. This educated middle class wanted a greater say and helped push Dominica toward political independence. The momentum towards independence was unstoppable. In 1967, Dominica took a major step forward when it became an associated state of the United Kingdom. This was a new status that gave the island full control over its internal affairs. Dominica now had its own government, led by a premier. He could make decisions about things like education, health, local laws. During this time, Dominican politics became very active and was dominated by Edward Oliver LeBlanc and later Patrick John. LeBlanc as the first premier was very popular, especially with the rural population. When Patrick John became premier, the push for full independence became the main goal. They began negotiations with the British government to make this dream a reality. The road to independence was not without its challenges and disagreements. There were political divisions and debates about the new constitution that would govern the country. Some people were worried that Dominica was too small and not economically strong enough to survive on its own. Finally, on November 3, 1978, the moment arrived. Dominica became a fully independent nation, a republic within the Commonwealth. The British flag, the Union Jack, was lowered for the last time, and the new flag of Dominica, with its Ciceroo parrot, was raised high over the island. It was a moment of immense pride and celebration for the Dominican people. After centuries of colonial rule, they were finally the masters of their own country. Patrick John became the first prime minister, and a new chapter in the history of Dominica began, filled with both great promise and significant challenges. In August 1979, less than a year after the celebrations, Hurricane David, a powerful Category 4 storm, struck the island with incredible force. The winds were devastating, reaching speeds of over 150 miles per hour. The hurricane destroyed almost everything in its path. It flattened homes, wiped out the entire banana crop, the backbone of the economy, destroyed roads, destroyed bridges, and destroyed communication lines. The island was left in ruins, and the progress of decades was undone in just a few hours. The international community responded with aid, sending supplies and assistance to help the island. Communities came together to clear roads, share what little food they had, and help each other rebuild their homes. It was a true test of the nation's spirit, and the people proved that they would not be defeated by the disaster. However, in September 2017, history repeated itself in a terrifying way. Hurricane Maria, an even stronger Category 5 storm, made a direct hit on Dominica. The destruction was even more widespread than that of Hurricane David. The recovery from Hurricane Maria has been guided by a new vision: to make Dominica the world's first climate-resilient nation. This means not just rebuilding, but rebuilding stronger and smarter. For much of the 20th century, agriculture was the heart of Dominica's economy. The era of green gold meant bananas dominated exports. Farmers harvested, they packed the fruit, then sent it to the port for shipping. However, relying on one crop made the island vulnerable. Dominica had to adapt. The country diversified its agriculture. Root crops, dasheen. Root crops, yams, fruits, mangoes, fruits, passion fruit. Farmers moved toward organic methods. They produced specialty cocoa and essential oils. As agriculture changed, tourism grew. Dominica didn't sell white sandy beaches, it sold nature, the nature isle of the Caribbean. Lush rainforests, hundreds of rivers, stunning waterfalls, volcanic features, boiling lake. Ecotourism drew visitors interested in hiking, birdwatching, diving. A cruise ship berth in Roseau brought thousands of day visitors. The challenge: balance tourism growth with protecting the environment. The goal? Sustainable tourism that benefits locals and preserves natural heritage for future generations. For a long time, communication with the outside world was slow, relying on mail, sent by ship, expensive international phone calls. The arrival of the internet and mobile phones completely transformed life on the island. Suddenly, people could communicate instantly with family and friends living abroad. The internet also opened up new possibilities for business and education. Small business owners could now market their products, local crafts, food items, to a global audience through websites and social media. For students, the internet provided access to a world of information that was previously unavailable. It allowed them to do research, take online courses. The government has also embraced technology to improve its services. This process, known as e-government, aims to make it easier for citizens to interact with government agencies. Paying taxes online, applying for documents, accessing public information. After Hurricane Maria, technology played a crucial role in the recovery effort. It was used to map the damage coordinate aid distribution. The push to become a climate-resilient nation includes using technology to create early warning systems for natural disasters and to manage the country's resources more effectively. Dominica's culture is a vibrant and unique tapestry woven from many different threads. The roots run deep, with influences from the indigenous Kalinago people, the Africans who were brought to the island as enslaved people, and the Europeans, primarily the French and the British who colonized it. This rich mix is visible in the island's music, dance, language, and food. The island has its own traditional music, such as Jing Ping, which features instruments like the accordion, the banjo, and the boom boom. The most famous musical export is cadence lypso, a style that became popular in the 1970s with bands like Exile 1. Festivals are a major part of life, with the annual carnival known as the Real Mass being a spectacular celebration of color, music, and costume. Another important cultural event is the World Creole Music Festival, which is held every year around the time of Independence Day. This festival celebrates Creole music and culture from all over the world and attracts thousands of visitors to the island. The island also works hard to preserve the heritage of its first people, the Kalinago. The Kalinago territory is a special area on the east coast where the descendants of the indigenous people live and maintain their traditions, such as craft making and canoe building. The government and cultural organizations work to ensure that traditional arts, crafts, and languages are passed down to the next generation. This cultural identity is a source of strength and resilience for the nation. It is the soul of Dominica, a reminder of its unique history and the spirit of its people, which has helped them to overcome many challenges. As we look at Dominica in 2025, we see a nation shaped by a century of profound change struggle achievement. From a small British colony dependent on a single crop, it has grown into a proud and independent republic. The journey has not been easy. Political turmoil, economic hardship, devastating storms and hurricanes. Yet the defining characteristic has been incredible resilience. Bend without breaking, rebuild after disaster, and always look forward with hope. The future is built on lessons from the past. The goal to become the world's first climate-resilient nation is not just a slogan, it is a practical plan. Strengthening infrastructure to withstand hurricanes, moving toward 100% renewable energy, geothermal projects, solar power installations, and creating a more diverse and sustainable economy. It is an ambitious vision that has captured the attention of the world. Sustainable tourism, focusing on the island's unique natural beauty, will continue to be a key sector. In agriculture, the focus will remain on diversification, organic farming, and adding value to local products. 100 years after 1925, Dominica stands as a testament to the power of a small nation to forge its own path, ready to face the next 100 years with courage and resilience.